How many retirees have enough money but are too afraid to spend it? My client John had $3.2 million in investments. He died at 68 without ever taking his wife to see the Northern Lights. His spreadsheet said he was rich. His deathbed said he died poor. I've spent 20 years watching this pattern repeat with over 500 clients, and what I've discovered will change how you think about retirement spending. And I know some of you might be thinking, Daryl, wow, another YouTube video telling us to blow through our money? Not at all. In a few minutes, I'll show you the 3 questions that help you find your personal spending number. But first, you need to see what causes this pattern, and it happens at every income level. Here's why. Traditional retirement planning optimizes for only one thing, not running out of money, but it completely ignores the other more immediate risk, running out of life before you run out of money. And research continually shows that retirees consistently underspend by 15 to 20% of what's financially safe. They're prioritizing a number on a page over experiences in their lives. Thanks for stopping by this channel. I'm Daryl Rosen. My overriding goal as a semi-retired financial advisor is to help you spend more money when you're younger and healthy. The actual numbers are shocking. A 2023 study found the average 65-year-old couple withdraws just 2.1% annually from their savings. This is compared to the more traditional 4% safe withdrawal rule, which I think is even low to begin with. Retirees are spending less than half of what they could safely spend, and research from the Retirement Income Institute shows that retirees, they're not even spending all of their lifetime income from Social Security and pensions, only about 80% and 50% of their available savings. People even leave guaranteed income untouched. But here's what the research can't show you, and the real stories behind all the numbers. Client A had $2.4 million. He refused to take his wife to Italy because he was worried about markets, volatility, worried about taxes, worried about spending. He died 3 years later with $2.8 million. His wife finally went to Italy, but she went without him. I know lots of stories like that. Some of them hit pretty close to home. My favorite first wife and I, Jill, our last remaining living parents passed away within the last 2 years. They could have spent more, but their health and time got in the way. Look, inheritances are nice, but they should have enjoyed what they had. In 20 years working with hundreds of retirees, I've identified a pattern nobody in my industry really talks about. It's not about the number in your account. It's not about your withdrawal rate. It's about something I call the zone of regret and how you can avoid it. The zone of regret. That's that place where you finally realize you can spend more, but you're too old or you're too sick, or it's just too late. And before I show you what that looks like, let me show you what real wealth looks like, because I think this often confuses people. Many people think wealth is about spending more money. It's not. Here's another personal example. Many of my peers have become snowbirds to escape Chicago's brutal winters. It's what you're supposed to do when you retire with some means in my area. Palm Springs, Palm Beach, places where there are a lot of palm trees. I could do the same. The numbers work, but I choose not to. And the reason is because my sons all live 30 minutes from me, or 90 minutes, depending on traffic, or 2 hours. See, most financial advisors and many of my friends would say I'm leaving lifestyle on the table. But here's what they're missing. Being rich is following the script. It's checking the boxes. It's spending more money the way you're expected to spend it. Wealth is choosing your own destiny and spending money how you see fit, not how someone else sees it. I choose my sons, if they'll see me, over 70-degree winters. That's not deprivation, that's wealth. The ability to make that choice, to prioritize what matters to me and to Jill. That's what money is supposed to buy. But here's the tragedy. Most retirees never get to make that choice, not because they didn't have the money, but because they're so paralyzed by fear that they can't spend on really anything. They end up in the zone of regret. I've mentioned before my client, John, he talked for years about taking his wife to see the Northern Lights. He researched the best times to go. He had the money, he had the time, and he had the health, but he never pulled the trigger. You know what he said? Next year. when the market stabilizes, when I feel more secure. He died at 68, and this next part is ironic to say the least. He did get there when his wife went alone to scatter his ashes under the northern lights he never got a chance to see. Yes, his wife was taken care of financially, but at what cost? That's the zone of regret. If that story resonates with you, if you're thinking I have my own Northern Lights trip I keep putting off, just know that you're not alone. I hear it all the time, constantly. And there's actually a psychological reason this happens that has nothing to do with how smart you are or how much money you have. Let me show you what I mean, because there is a pattern. These aren't people who couldn't afford their dreams. These are people who were too afraid to spend on what mattered, even when the math said it was safe. Now compare those stories to my story. I'm not going to Florida or somewhere warm because that's a choice. I know exactly what I'm trading. Warm winters for proximity to my sons, and I'd make that trade every single time. John had the choice to see the Northern Lights. He just never made it. The difference, it's not the portfolio size. It's whether you're using your money to design the life you want or whether fear is designing your life for you. So why does this happen at every asset level? And you thought public speaking was everyone's greatest fear. There's a study from Allianz which shows that over 60% of retirees worry more about outliving their money than they actually worry about death itself. They're more afraid of a spreadsheet going to zero than dying. This fear doesn't discriminate by portfolio size, by the way. I've seen it with clients with $300,000 and clients with $4, $5, $6 million. And I think I know why. It's because traditional retirement planning optimizes for one thing, not running out of money, but it completely ignores the other risk, running out of life before you run out of money. And financial advisors, including myself for many years, by the way, are trained to protect you from going broke. We talk about Monte Carlo simulations and stress testing and safety margins, all designed to answer, will you have enough money? But here's what those simulations can't fix. As one viewer told me, even with passive income that's guaranteed the best it can be in my mind, I feel like I have no income and I have to be careful because I'm not working. That's what we call the invisible trap. The math says you're safe, but the feeling says you're not. And nobody's asking, will you have enough life? Unfortunately, the financial industry rewards caution. It's had a lot to do with this phenomenon. What if you live to be 105? What if we have another 2008? What if you get sick? Valid questions, but they create paralysis. And sometimes that paralysis has deep roots. Here's a comment from a video I did on spending. We've been taught our whole lives to save for retirement. My father went bankrupt when I was in high school and we lost everything. Now we have plenty, but still struggle to spend. That's the real battle. It's not just industry messaging. It's decades of personal conditioning. And paralysis creates regret. Official surveys say that 75% of retirees wish they had saved more. But if you look at YouTube comments on just about any retirement video, ones like this one, people say, I wish I had retired 5 years earlier, or I wish I had traveled when I could still hike. I wish I hadn't waited for the perfect time. And the reason this matters is because research actually shows spending naturally declines 2% per year after retirement. By 75, you're spending 19 to 26% less than at 65. Your window for active experiences closes every year you wait. The zone of regret isn't about money, it's about timing. And timing is the one thing you can't get back. Here's where we get practical. I'm going to share 3 questions that have helped hundreds of my clients break this pattern. You don't have to answer them right now, but if you're serious about avoiding the zone of regret, these are worth thinking about at your earliest convenience. So how do you avoid it? 3 questions that will change how you think about retirement spending. Question number 1, what's your enough number? Not what Dave Ramsey says, not what your brother-in-law has. What do you need to live the life you actually want? See, most people know what they're afraid of. It's running out of money, but they don't know what enough really looks like. And if you don't know what enough is, you're really never going to feel safe spending anything. Remember, retirees are withdrawing 2.1% when they could safely withdraw 4%, not because they're being smart, because they don't know what enough really looks like. Question number 2, what are you waiting for? Write this down. I'll travel when, I'll spend more when, I'll retire when. Now fill in the blank. And then ask yourself, is that condition ever going to be met? You know, those goalposts, they continue always to keep moving further out. I'll spend more when I hit $1 million becomes when I hit 1.5 million. I'll travel when the market stabilizes becomes after the next election. Your spending capacity is declining 2% every year. Your ability to enjoy experiences is declining even faster. What are you actually waiting for? Is it real or is it fear? Question number 3, what will you regret not doing? Traditional planning asks, what if I run out of money? This question asks, what if I run out of time? Both are valid, but only one gets asked in most financial planning meetings. My client who died without taking his wife to see the Northern Lights, it was on his list. He told me 3 years before he died. He had the money. He just never pulled the trigger. I have another client with $400,000 who went to Costa Rica. She understood that wealth isn't about portfolio size. It's about using what you have while you still can. So make a list right now. I'll wait right here. 3 things you'll regret not doing if you wait too long. Not nice to haves. The things that will haunt you if you don't do them. And then ask yourself, what's stopping me? Is it really the money or is it fear disguised as being prudent? You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So here's an action step. Here's what I would suggest. Take 1% of your portfolio and spend it on something you've been putting off. $500,000, that's $5,000. $1 million, that's $10,000. 1% will not break your retirement plan. Trust me, I look at these all day long, but it will break the paralysis. So book the trip, take the class, visit the person, do the experience you've been waiting for, because 1% spent on living is worth more than 100% saved for someday. And if 1% feels scary, start with 0.5%. The number doesn't matter, breaking the pattern does. I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm saying that true wealth isn't about the number in your account. It's about having the wisdom to use what you have while you still have the ability to do so. The zone of regret is real. I've seen it destroy lives that look perfect on paper. But if you're still watching this right now, which means you still have time, you still have choices. You still have the opportunity to define wealth on your terms instead of letting fear define it for you. Answer those 3 questions. Know your enough number. Identify what you're really waiting for. List what you'll regret not doing. Then spend that 1%. And if this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'd love to hear in the comments, what's the one thing you've been putting off that you'll regret if you wait too long? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.